bode well for you or for the rest of us, really. It just turns into a shouting match.
All she has, because she has not looked into who I am or what's gone on with.
I don't need to look into. Well, look. Yesterday, where was it? It was yesterday. She turned around and said to me, "I need to research my enemy." Yeah. So I researched my enemy, and the first thing that came up was her dead dad. So, like, what do you want me to do? And I figured out why you're so obsessed with Danny, isn't it? Because your dad's name was Danny, isn't it, Voldemort? That's why you're obsessed with Danny. You got this weird obsession, like it's weird. But anyway,
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Ah, right, okay.
Yeah. But let me keep the smoke for later.
With my children, she's jumped on a bandwagon with paedophiles. Knows she's fucked up, and now all she does is go to my dead dad and kids.
Are you coming to the tree? They strung up a man. They say who murdered 3. Strange things did happen here. No stranger would it be if we met at midnight in the hanging tree. Are you coming to the tree where a dead man called out for his love to flee? Strange things did happen here. No stranger would it be if we met at midnight in the hanging tree. Are you coming to the tree where I told you to run so we both be free? Strange things that happen here. No stranger would it be if we met at midnight in the hanging tree? Are you coming to the tree where a necklace of hope side by side with me? Strange things did happen here. No stranger would it be if we met at midnight in the hanging tree.
skin?
Yes, it's skin.
Okay, well, sorry to...
A big black star. It was... Wait. Pause. I have to go and draw the star picture on the shoe. The paper's downstairs.
Who are these 20 special children?
There's Millie. She's a brown girl.
Millie who?
Millie Cowell.
Millie Cow?
Yes.
Okay. So how do you know she's one of the 20 special children?
Because she's given her name because she comes to school who sets most.
Who's that?
The teachers, the parents, the staff.
Every single teacher was a specific teacher.
No, every single, the whole school. The whole school, and we've got our own church. So we can do that. Because after we, as I said, we told David we can specialise in this stuff. But then after we do, so the social services who are in it, they go to families or
gossip, slander, and public harm, a shared warning from the Bible and the Qur'an in the digital age. How ancient revelation foresaw modern digital destruction. 1. A shared moral law. Gossip is a serious spiritual crime. Both Christianity and Islam treat gossip not as casual misbehavior, but as a grave moral and spiritual offense, one that corrupts the heart, fractures communities, and invites divine accountability. Biblical warnings. Proverbs 16 verse 28. A perverse person stirs up conflict, and a gossip separates close friends. Leviticus 19 verse 16. You shall not go about as a slanderer among your people. James 3 verse 6. The tongue is a fire, a world of unrighteousness. Matthew 12 verse 36. Everyone will have to give account on the day of judgment for every empty word they have spoken. Here, gossip is not merely unkind, it is spiritually incendiary and judgment-bearing. Quranic warnings. The Quran condemns gossip and slander with equally severe language. Surah Al-Hujurat 49:12. Do not spy on one another, nor backbite one another. Would any of you like to eat the flesh of his dead brother? You would detest it. This is one of the most vivid moral images in all scripture. Gossip is equated with cannibalizing the dead, the ultimate violation of dignity. Surah Al-Qalam 68:10-11. Do not obey every habitual oath-taker, slanderer, going about with malicious gossip. Surah An-Nur 2400 hours 15. You received it on your tongues and said with your mouths that of which you had no knowledge, thinking it was insignificant while it was, in the sight of God, enormous. This verse is especially relevant today. What people think is just talk is enormous in moral weight. Shared moral conclusion. Across both faiths. Gossip is not neutral speech. It is a violation of human dignity. It is destructive to social trust. It is spiritually accountable. There is no religious loophole, justification, or excuse for speaking harmfully about others in their absence. 2. Why gossip is so dangerous, a shared ethical understanding. Both traditions recognize the same core dangers. 1. The accused has no defense. Gossip always operates where the person is absent. The facts cannot be tested. The damage cannot be prevented. This violates both biblical justice. One witness is not enough. Deuteronomy 19 verse 15. Quranic justice. If a wrongdoer brings you news, verify it. Surah 49:6. 2. Gossip turns suspicion into identity. It does not say something may have happened. It says this is who they are. This is identity destruction, not disagreement. 3. Group gossip destroys individual conscience. Once gossip becomes collective, personal responsibility weakens. Cruelty increases. Moral inhibition collapses. Both the Bible and Quran repeatedly warn against following the crowd into wrongdoing. 3. When gossip enters the public record, from sin to legal liability. Private gossip, while sinful, once faded. Public digital gossip never fades. The moment gossip enters. Social media. Forums. Group chats. Comment sections. Videos. Screenshots. It moves from moral wrongdoing into legal exposure. Defamation, the legal umbrella. Defamation is any false statement presented as fact that harms a person's reputation. It divides into slander, spoken, temporary, harder to prove, libel, written or recorded, permanent, searchable, archivable, shareable. All online posts fall under libel, not slander. Legal requirements for liability, simplified. 1. A false statement. 2. Presented as fact. 3. Published to others. 4. Causing reputational harm. The internet automatically satisfies publication and permanence. 4. When gossip becomes collective, conspiracy, harassment and psychological harm. Once multiple people participate online, the legal landscape escalates. Civil conspiracy. If two or more people coordinate, share defamatory material, intend harm, each individual becomes liable for the total collective damage. Harassment and targeted bullying. Online gossip campaigns can meet thresholds for stalking, harassment, threatening behavior, coercive control. This is now frequently criminal, not merely civil. Intentional infliction of emotional distress. Where behavior is extreme, repeated, reckless, psychologically destructive. The law recognizes this as a serious actionable offense. Why online gossip is worse than offline? Because it is permanent, anonymous, algorithmically amplified, global, inescapable, career-destroying, socially isolating. Documented outcomes include PTSD, suicidal ideation, identity collapse, total reputational exile. This is why group-based online gossip is not merely cruel, it is often sadistic in its effect. 5. Theological meaning of the digital age. Here your insight becomes extraordinarily powerful. Scripture warned against gossip in a world where words faded. We now live in a world where words never die. For the first time in human history, every word can be recorded, stored, retrieved, quoted, used in court, spread globally within seconds. The Bible's warning. Every idle word will be accounted for. And the Quran's warning. You uttered it with your mouths, thinking it insignificant, while it was enormous in God's sight. Have become materially, legally, and digitally real. The internet has not weakened divine warning, it has multiplied its consequences. 6. Gossip versus justice, a shared moral contrast. Gossip. Justice. Speaks in absence. Confronts in presence. Spreads suspicion. Seeks verification. Destroys reputation. Protects dignity. Avoids accountability. Demands evidence. Entertains the ego. Requires humility. Divides communities. Preserves peace. Both Christianity and Islam align truth with restraint, not exposure. Final synthesis, a unified warning for our time. Christian and Muslim scripture agree on something profoundly important. Gossip is spiritually dangerous. Slander is morally grave. Public accusation without proof is a form of injustice. Group-based attack multiplies guilt. Words carry divine, social, and now legal consequence. The internet has created a world where words do not disappear. Accusations cannot be forgotten. Falsehoods cannot be fully undone. And reputations can be destroyed without physical violence. What once died in a room now lives forever in databases, screenshots, court records, and search engines. A final shared truth. The Qur'an calls gossip eating the flesh of the dead. The Bible calls it a fire set from hell. The law calls it defamation. The victim experiences it as social execution. Different languages. The same moral reality.
Yeah, like, fuck. None of us have ever done anything to the levels of what Esau have done. Yet you're obsessed with us. Esau, on the other hand, you're terrified of, aren't you? You are terrified of Esau. On that note, big up in the super chat. Another 19.99 from Arafina. She put, "We are family. Hey, 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 hey. Hogshead trolls." Oh, wait, let me think that through. We are family. Hey, 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 yeah. We've got all the Hogshead trolls with me. No, that doesn't fit. We are family. Hey, 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 yeah. I've got Hogshead trolls all with me. No, one more time. We are family. Hey, 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 yeah. I've got all Hogshead. No, I've got Hogshead trolls. I've got all Hawkstead trolls with me. I've got all Hawkstead trolls with me. That works. We are family. Hey, 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 yeah. I've got all Hawkstead trolls with me. Hey, 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 yeah. Fucking family.
Statement
Big
on
up.
truth,
Getting drive out there.
silence, and the moral weight of words. For a long time now, I have lived with the reality of being spoken about in rooms I am not in, on platforms I do not control, and in narratives I have not authored. I have watched from a distance as groups of people, some openly, some anonymously, have sat together, day after day, discussing my life as though it were public property. They have speculated, exaggerated, distorted, and at times outright invented claims about me. They have spoken not only about my character, but about the most painful and private aspects of my life, including my children. Today, of all days, the very day we prepare to make our own truth visible through our website, the same pattern has unfolded again. Public discussions. False narratives. Casual cruelty. Pain treated as entertainment. Not whispered, not private, but broadcast. Silence, when faced with persistent public falsehood, becomes a form of erasure. And I will not consent to being erased. The illusion of control and the reality of law. There seems to be a belief held by some that if they speak loudly enough, often enough, and with enough people participating, a person can simply be written out of their own story. That truth can be drowned. That a life can be reduced to a caricature for clicks, streams, and conversation. But words spoken in public do not vanish. They accumulate. They record. They testify. And what may feel like power in the moment often becomes liability in time. There is a profound difference between disagreement and defamation, opinion and accusation, criticism and harassment. When speech becomes repetitive, targeted, collective, and harmful, it crosses not only moral lines, but legal ones too. Addiction, narcissism, and the vulnerability to harm. Over time, patterns emerge. Some people appear driven by addiction, whether to alcohol, to validation, to attention, or to the chemical highs of online reaction and conflict. Others display traits consistent with narcissism, the need to dominate narrative, the absence of accountability, the inability to tolerate another person's independent voice. When such traits combine with vulnerability, people can become groomed into participation, used as mouthpieces, drawn into dynamics they do not fully understand, encouraged to harm others while believing they are justified. This is not new. Scripture, both biblical and Quranic, warns repeatedly about those who stir division, feed on scandal, exploit weakness, and delight in the downfall of others. The tragedy is that many who participate may not even realize the full weight of what they are enabling. The 7 deadly sins and the mirror of the soul. Christian tradition speaks of the 7 deadly sins not as medieval abstractions, but as spiritual diseases of the heart. Jealousy, resentment towards another's strength, resilience, or voice. Gluttony, not only of food, but of attention, drama, outrage, and validation. Wrath, disproportionate rage that seeks not justice, but destruction. Pride, the inability to admit wrongdoing. Sloth, moral laziness that follows the crowd rather than conscience. Greed, using another's life as currency. Lust, not only sexual, but a lust for power over another. Islam speaks with equal force about these same moral dangers. Envy that consumes good deeds. Arrogance that blinds the heart. Suspicion that corrupts judgment. Backbiting that devours human dignity. And the love of scandal that distances a person from God. Different traditions. The same diagnosis. How faith warns us not to become what we hate. Both Christianity and Islam teach that sin does not merely harm the victim, it reshapes the soul of the one who commits it. When a person repeats lies, justifies cruelty, normalizes harassment, laughs at another's suffering, they do not merely harm another human being. They move themselves further away from God, from conscience, and from truth. Scripture does not warn against gossip because God is fragile. It warns against gossip because we are. The psychological cost of being publicly misrepresented. To live under constant misrepresentation is not trivial. It affects safety, reputation, mental health, family relationships, children, livelihood, and one's sense of belonging in the world. What is said casually on a live stream does not land casually in the life of the person being discussed. Online cruelty is not less real because it is virtual. It is often more inescapable because it follows a person into every space. Truth does not require a mob. I have not written this because I need a crowd. I have written it because truth does not require permission. I do not need to silence others to exist. I do not need to erase anyone to speak. And I do not need to become cruel in order to be strong. If others continue to use my name for attention while denying me the right to speak for myself, that contradiction will eventually speak louder than any statement I could ever make. A final word on God, not grievance. This is not ultimately about revenge, exposure, or retaliation. This is about alignment with God. Both the Bible and the Qur'an teach that God sees what is hidden. God hears what is whispered and broadcast. God knows the intentions behind every word. And God is not mocked by collective denial. History shows us again and again. Truth does not always win quickly. But it does not remain buried forever. My position, simply stated. I will not participate in public cruelty. I will not return lies with lies. I will not sacrifice my integrity for outrage. And I will not be erased by people who only know how to speak about me, never to me. This is not a declaration of war. It is a declaration of existence, truth, and faith. Kaylee Ainov. Umbrella Grape Solutions. UGS Common Law Church Limited 16246006.
Bode well for you or for the rest of us, really. It turns into a shouting match.
All she has, because she has not looked into who I am or what's gone on with.
I don't need to look into. Well, look. Yesterday, where was it? It was yesterday. She turned around and said to me, I need to research my enemy. Yeah. So I researched my enemy, and the first thing that came up was her dead dad. So, like, what do you want me to do? And I figured out why you're so obsessed with Danny, isn't it? Because your dad's name was Danny, isn't it, Voldemort? That's why you're obsessed with Danny. You got this weird obsession, like it's weird. But anyway,
I didn't know that.
yeah.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah. But let me keep the smoke for later.
With my children, she's jumped on a bandwagon with paedophiles, knows she's fucked up, and now all she does is go to my dead dad and kids.